Welcome back to All Nerd Everything. My name is Craig. I'm your favorite film content creator, also your favorite comic book content creator. And if you're new to my channel, I discuss all of your favorite entertainment from films, TV shows, comic books, and beyond that. And one of the films I'm most excited for of 2025 is Superman. If you guys are new to my channel, I am a huge Superman fanatic. He is my all-time favorite comic book character. I don't care what anyone says. I prefer him over Batman. Just my humble opinion. And with James Gunn Superman set to be released in July, this film has to be successful. It has to. The future of DC is pretty much set in stone if if Superman succeeds. If it doesn't, I don't know what can happen, because I really do want DC to thrive and come out with some bangers, because since James Gunn has been in the forefront of the decision making, some people are iffy on what he has to bring to the DC universe. And I'm a little bit concerned about leaving out the Justice League and other Justice League members like Wonder Woman and Flash and other characters such as that. I really hope we do get to see them, but that's neither here nor there. But I wanted to discuss the Superman villains, the Superman Rose Gallery. I think a lot of people really underestimate the the range of his Rogues Gallery. Go back and watch Superman the animated series. That is one of my favorite superhero animated shows, and it captures all of his villains so well in that series. But the question is, who is the perfect first villain for Superman? They usually always started with either Lex, which in my opinion, I think you should save the best for last, or General Zod. And General Zod, while he is great, I think it's best to save him for future installments. I think it's best to have Superman tackle villains of Metropolis, rather than throw him in the deep end of the pool and see how he fares against them. I think it's best to lead up to Brainiac and the Mongols and the General Zods. So this is my list of perfect villains that should fight Superman for his first outing in a film. But let me know what you guys think. First off, I'm going to start off with Parasite, aka Raymond Jensen, the first one. And Rudy Jones was the Parasite in Superman the animated series, so he's widely more popular, and they tend to use him more in certain outlets and medias. But I think the first Parasite would be a very good one to use, Raymond Jensen, to show that Superman is not all bronze, because a lot of people that don't read his comics assume that Superman is just super strong and that nothing can beat him, and that he's pretty much invincible and is pretty much immune to anything, when that couldn't be any further from the truth. Also, I live by the train tracks, so yeah, I'm gonna just speak up louder for anyone that can't hear me. But yeah, I think Parasite would be a great first villain. Like I said, it shows Superman's intelligence to try to find a way to defeat a villain that's essentially a human sponge, and that could absorb the life force and the energy out of you. And I think it's also a great way. It would also be a great way to capture mental health with Parasite, as he goes mentally insane because he's unable to touch his family. He can't have any physical interaction with his family, seeing how he is, like I said, a human sponge now. So I think Parasite would be a great way to capture mental health and also just show that Superman is very intelligent and that he doesn't always need to, punch someone in the ground or shoot lasers out of his eyes to defeat someone. The next one I have in mind is Leslie Willis, aka Livewire, and Livewire is a very underrated Superman villain. Feel like she doesn't get talked about enough just because they don't use her enough. She was created for Superman the animated series, just like Harley Quinn, and was later put in the comics. Which I think whenever they do that, I think that is just incredible. I really love when art reflects reality, when a TV show is strong enough, creates a character strong enough where the comics are influenced. Even a lot of anime manga does it as well. In Naruto, one of the seven swordsmen was created in the manga because of the anime, which I thought was dope. But Leslie Willis as Livewire, I think a great twist for this would be to have Livewire, well, Leslie be a social media personality and have her just, antagonize Superman. And essentially, she's projecting her anger and how she feels about Superman onto everyone else because she just wants to feel generally accepted by the public because she didn't have a great childhood when it can't come to her parents, and she didn't really have a lot of close personal connections with a lot of loved ones around her. So she tries to use her social media connections with her audience to gain that love and acceptance that she should have had with her loved ones, that she's now projecting onto her followers that actually believe that you know, uh, Superman is essentially everything that non-comic book readers say that he is. So I think using Livewire would be a great way to humanize Livewire and also show the difference between their how Clark and Leslie came up. How Clark was from a loving family that accepted him for who he was, uh, which is uh, an alien from a whole another world, while Leslie Leslie feels completely outcast, and like I said, is just projecting all that hurt and anger that Clark received onto Superman. So let me know what you guys think of that. I think that'd be a great way to, add some meta commentary on on a lot of people that dislike Superman. And I think it'd be a great way to tackle two birds with one stone. And finally, Intergame. Can we talk about Intergame? Because Intergame does not get enough love. They get mentioned here and there, but I don't really think a lot of people take Intergang as one of the big baddies for Superman. Now, Intergang is, yeah, they're a criminal organization, and sometimes they're led by Lex Luthor, sometimes they're led by Darkseid. It really depends on the story. But I think my version of this would be completely different. I would have Intergang be funded by Lex Luthor. However, if anyone needs Intergang service, whether it's police or civilians, they have to pay for their service, and it leaves the people in Metropolis split down the middle. Some people don't, a lot of the people in Lex's in Lex's, area, a lot of the upper class people of Metropolis don't mind it and actually prefer, working with Gang rather than Superman, while a lot of the, middle lower class people look, kind of despise Lex for taking money out of their pocket to fund this criminal gang that he's marketing towards the media. And I think it's a great way to tackle class and how Superman, and also just how loving Superman is, that he doesn't need to charge any amount of money or anything to help people out. He's only doing it for the goodness of his heart. And Lex is only funding Gang to essentially replace Superman and kick him out. Likes organized he likes organized crime, but when my twist on this would be, what if Gang start go a little bit out of control? What if they start killing criminals that are selling drugs to like young teenagers, and that puts a negative stain on that puts Lex Luthor in a bad predicament, because now everyone is pissed off at him that he's funding this criminal organization that is killing criminals no matter how bad they are. And now it puts a negative reaction to Lex Luthor from the media's perspective, and Superman has to bail Lex Luthor out because of it and defeat Lex's monster, which is Gang. So, I mean, yeah, those are my ideas for the first villains that Superman should tackle. I don't think he should. I definitely don't think that he should tackle, the bigger villains right off the bat. I would save General Zod. If you're going to do General Zod, I would wait for maybe the second film or perhaps even the third film. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Is there anyone I left off the list that you would add? But let me know what you guys think. Until then, don't forget to like, comment, share, follow to stay updated with more movie, TV show, and comic book news and reviews, and enjoy the rest of your week.